Welcome, Patriots, to the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi, coming to you live from the Next News Network studios just outside Chicago. And, folks, we're streaming to millions worldwide on YouTube, plus our freedom fighters on Rumble and X. And speaking of X, if you're watching there right now, repost this show to your followers. And everyone else, grab your phone and text the stream to a friend. Let's bypass big tech's algorithm together. Now, what sets the Raw Feed apart from every other show? We don't just report the news. We interact with you in the live chat. Your reactions, your thoughts, your voice matters here. So fire up those keyboards because we want to hear from you throughout today's explosive show. And if you want to support independent journalism that tells the truth, check out our donation links in the description. You can contribute privately at Give, Send, Go or through PayPal. Every dollar helps us fight the information war. Now, before we dive into today's bombshells, let me tell you about a moment in history that connects perfectly to what we're covering. On this day, July 28th, 1945, B-25 bomber crashed into the Empire State Building in heavy fog, killing 14 people. The government's response, well, they try to downplay it, control the narrative, and manage the information flow. Sound familiar? Well, just like back then, today we're seeing massive scandals being covered up, truth being buried, and the powerful protecting themselves while regular Americans suffer. From Epstein's client list finally cracking open with 100 names dropping, to Trump's historic EU trade victory that even CNN can't spin, to Spencer Pratt, yes, that's Spencer Pratt, exposing how Gavin Newsom's wife allegedly stole $100 million meant for fire victims. Plus, Obama's Russiagate house of cards is collapsing as his own FBI agents panic delete their posts. And wait until you see my ride in an electric DeLorean that would make Doc Brown's jaw drop. Now, if you want to show off your favorite news source while supporting the show, you can head to shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. We've got alligator Alcatraz shirts, President Auto Pen designs in our badass American Badass series. You can rock that Next News gear with pride, but here is what really funds the operation. Our YouTube channel members get special perks at every level. You'll receive exclusive acknowledgement in the chat, behind-the-scenes uploads, and access to our members-only 24/7 Discord server where the conversation never stops. So hit that join button below. And throughout the show, we'll be featuring your super chats and Rumble rants on screen for the world to see. So send them in right now, even before we officially begin, and we'll get them up between segments as well. This is your chance to have your voice heard by millions. So, Patriots, make sure you're following us on all platforms, YouTube, Rumble, and X, because you never know when big tech might try to silence us. We need you everywhere that we broadcast. Today's revelations are going to shake the foundations of the establishment. We're talking about the biggest names in politics, media, and Hollywood, all scrambling as their house of lies comes tumbling down. This is not just news. This is history unfolding before our eyes. So buckle up, share the stream, get ready to interact in the chat, and let's expose the truth together. The revolution will not be televised, but it will be live streamed right here on the Raw Feed at the Next News Network. So let's get into it and welcome you to the show. We've got Karen Finley, R. Boyd, Sabrina, Mr. Cheddar Prepper, Robert Lockhart, Karen Myron in the house. Who else is here? We've got Tom B420. James is here. Gorian Lady, Sabrina. We got Pothead Kenny is here as well. What's up? What's up? Let's see who else. We've got 888, Scottish Tart, Eye Drop Sounds, Real Klaus, Real Keylus. I don't know. Keylus. Real Keylus. Okay. Super Chat, $2. Welcome, Gary. Could you make it? Yeah, barely. Tom B420, thank you for that. Let's see, the host is Gary. That's right, that's me. What's up? We got Belinda Mueller is here. Mueller. We've got Tom B420 dropping another 5. What's up? Guys, we're using a new system today. As you can tell, the screen looks a little bit different. So, we had some issues. We heard your comments. Okay, we've been reading them and digesting it. Brian was actually here in studio all weekend, working tirelessly, troubleshooting every single possible reason why we were having audio drops and video freezes. Turns out, well, it wasn't us. It was the service that we were using, because after we did a little search, we found out that other people were experiencing the same problem with the service that we were using. So we sent trouble tickets in. We're waiting on an official reply so we can get some testing done and we can figure out the whole problem. So thank you for bearing with us. This is a new format. I do want to go back to the old one as soon as possible. I do have more control over that system. This is different and new. I still have to learn it. But we do have a lot of news to get to. No topics, no trivia tonight. But we do have some big news, so let's just jump right into it. The Epstein scandal just exploded again, and this time the media can't contain it. Ghislaine Maxwell singing like a canary, naming up to 100 people connected to that island. Chris Cuomo is blasting his own side. Joe Rogan is calling it a line in the sand. Even Megyn Kelly is throwing shade at Trump's team for their response. Yes, the metadata is being analyzed, the lawsuits are flying, and suddenly everyone who called this a conspiracy theory is running for cover. So what happens when the truth becomes too big to bury? Well, you're about to find out, so keep on watching. Now, you probably think your 401k is safe, but it wasn't designed to make you wealthy. It was built to shift retirement costs and risks onto you, leaving your savings exposed to crashes, inflation, and chaos. But Americans are waking up and taking control of real assets like gold. Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands secure their future by converting part of the 401k into a tax-advantaged gold IRA without penalties or headaches. It's safe and simple and smart. Visit nextnewsgold.com to get your free wealth protection kit and discover how to safeguard your savings. Open a qualified account today and receive two 5-ounce silver America the Beautiful coins absolutely free. That's nextnewsgold.com, your exit from the danger zone, or call 877-646-5347 and tell Colin that Gary said what's up. Okay, so President Trump going on the offensive, demanding Rupert Murdoch testify under oath immediately. Trump is unleashing a legal firestorm, moving to expedite the deposition of the 94-year-old media titan Rupert Murdoch just 15 days after filing a massive defamation suit against the Wall Street Journal over a salacious and allegedly fabricated report tying Trump to Epstein. Citing Murdoch's failing health and advanced age, Trump's legal team is demanding answers fast. According to the court filing, Murdoch has access to all the information regarding the decision to publish the damning article, giving him an unfair advantage while Trump is left in the dark. Now, Trump's attorney wrote that Murdoch would not suffer any prejudice significant enough to outweigh the good cause that exists to grant this motion. The motion asserts that the birthday card story at the center of the report does not exist, citing the entire narrative as a political hit job. This bold move is a direct counterattack on the mainstream media machine. Murdoch, the architect behind News Corp, now stands at the legal crosshairs as Trump fights to expose what he calls malicious and defamatory journalism designed to sabotage him. Now, the judge has ordered a response to Trump's motion by August 4th, so the countdown to truth has just begun. Murdoch may soon be forced to speak under oath. And a lot happening with the Epstein files. We would play this clip from Newsmax, but I just want to make a point here to state that Chris Cuomo now blasting the left over Epstein. They should shut the F up. They weren't into it when they had the ability to do something. Says outrage is now just political theater targeting Trump and not real moral concern. Now, we would play this clip from Newsmax, but they insist on licensing, despite the fact that we could play it in fair use, and then we'd end up in court over the whole case. And I mean, we play clips from Fox and CNN and all the other networks. Newsmax is the only one that issues hard strikes. They have a whole team of people that scour the web and like to try to shut down YouTube channels that play their clips. We could just go ahead and promote them. And I guess they just want us to pay licensing, despite the fact that we are clearly in fair use. But speaking of fair use, here's a CNN mention Sununu mocking Trump's Epstein Island denial. We're going to get to that first. Let's play the denial that President Trump has stated. This is huge too. So much is happening. So much is happening. Let's get to what President Trump said just 11 hours ago overseas.
Very easy to explain, but I don't want to waste your time by explaining it. But for years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate. He hired help. And I said, don't ever do that again. He stole people that work for me. I said, don't ever do that again. He did it again. And I threw him out of the place, persona non grata. I threw him out. And that was it. I'm glad I did, if you want to know the truth. And by the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. I never went to the island, but Larry Summers, I hear, went there. He was the head of Harvard. And many other people that are very big people. Nobody ever talks about them. I never had the privilege of going to his island. And I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island. Yeah.
So President Trump did not want to go to the island after multiple attempts. So here's Sununu mocking President Trump's statement about not going to the island. Listen.
Go to the island.
So Governor Sununu, Ghislaine Maxwell was basically Jeffrey Epstein's groomer for years, bringing him young women, and she was convicted and sent away for 20 years. Is this a case President Trump wants to pick up?
No. And I don't think the Supreme Court wants to touch it. I think it's just an absolute fireball. I love how he's like, and I was never at the island. I could have gone to the island.
Never had the privilege.
Go to the island.
Never had the privilege.
It's like the rest of us saying, I could have gone to McDonald's, but I went home and I ate a salad instead. So look, this is what I think is ultimately going to happen is there's a deal to be made. She is, as Dershowitz said, she's the Rosetta Stone. She has all the information. She's very carefully. She hasn't written a book. She hasn't done any of that. She's holding it all for that deal once the Supreme Court rejects her. And I think they will. I think it's just too much of a political handle. The deal is give me a reduced sentence. She's not going to get a pardon. I mean, Trump pardoning her would be like worse than Biden pardoning Hunter Biden, right? I mean, it would be really,
But commuting a sentence for a child sex trafficker?
If it means getting more information, I don't know if the sentence is commuted. Maybe it's reduced. The opportunity for her to get out at some point, write her story, make millions, because believe me, if and when she ever gets out, she's making millions on this story one way or the other. Trump needs this Epstein thing to go away, and it's not going away unless somebody gives up the goods, and she's the only one.
Jamal, so
and of course, she is ready to testify under oath with Comer's committee, the Oversight Committee, on August 11th. That is the big day that everybody is waiting for. Now, here's Megyn Kelly. Not too happy, telling Piers Morgan it's hard to have a lot of sympathy for the Trump administration over the Epstein fallout. Listen.
People on the right, Jeffrey Epstein. It seems to me the biggest problem with the Epstein scandal for Trump, which has obviously divided his
Let's
scandal.
just get to.
What do you think?
Completely agree. This is self-inflicted. First of all, nobody told Pam Bondi she had to issue that memo in the middle of a slow news summer where people would, of course, predictably be digesting it and the Republican base be horrified by it for the entire summer. That's really how this is unfolded. And whoever told the Justice Department that this could somehow be buried and that people would move on and that the Trump administration could get away with that ridiculous 2-page summation of you're not getting any more information because there's no there should be fired. That person is an idiot and didn't understand the Republican base, certainly the core MAGA base. And by the way, of course, their hackles have been up and their interest in this story has been at a peak, in large part because of the two men Trump put in charge of his FBI. There were no bigger proponents of there being more to the Epstein story than Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. And it's actually one of the reasons why the Republicans were so thrilled to see them get put in charge of the FBI. So you reap what you sow. And if they had gotten in there and determined there actually is no there, oh my gosh, it's very different actually being, in a governing position versus being a podcaster. And they worked with Bondi and said, my God, we're going to have some egg on our face because we were the ones who fanned this flame. There was a way of handling it by having a full-blown presser where we could have asked whatever questions we wanted to ask. And sure, the diehard, quote-unquote, conspiracy theorists will never be satisfied because that's not how conspiracy theorists work. They're never satisfied ever, no matter how much information is disclosed. The vast majority of Epstein pushers, which I would say is 80% of the group, would have said, fine, we've gotten what we're going to get. It was mishandled from the start, and that's why there was a day on that Friday, early July, where Dan Bongino said behind the scenes, it's either Bondi or me, but one of us is going. And the only reason he stayed was because he received administrative assurances that she would release more, that the administration.
And that's why you saw Pam Bondi going down to notify that judge to release everything, unseal all of the grand jury proceedings, which, of course, the judge did refuse to do, the Obama-appointed judge. Now, that could have been, they could have known that was going to happen, and now they can blame the judge. Who knows? Now, here's Joe Rogan calling the Epstein scandal a line in the sand and claims that Trump admin is gaslighting his supporters.
These guys. Yeah. So a guy like that decides, yeah, he's going to off himself. And again,
but here's the thing. It's like these guys that are all involved in this are still, they've been around for a long time, and they have this mentality that existed before the internet, where you could just kind of put stuff out there, and you wouldn't have all these psycho sleuths out there that are going to go over everything with a fine-tooth comb, especially guys who are tech wizards who can look at the metadata and he can figure this kind of stuff out.
Well, shit died a lot quicker. You're right. So something would happen, and look, we still have ADHD, right? Collectively as a nation, right? I mean, things move on, and I think maybe that's what they're, some people are saying. Look, they've called the recess on Capitol Hill because they figure by the time they come back in September, everybody will have moved on from this, right?
Yeah.
I think they're wrong. I don't think this is this again. This feels like and just looks like that one of those handful of conspiracies, again, you go to JFK or whomever, that's just going to hang around.
This
right?
is a line in the sand.
Yeah.
This one's a
Yeah.
line in the sand.
Yeah.
Because this is one where there's a lot of stuff about, when we thought Trump was going to come in and a lot of things are going to be resolved.
Yeah.
We're going to drain the swamp. We're going to figure everything out. And when you have this one hardcore line in the sand that everybody had been talking about forever, and then they're trying to gaslight you on that.
Well, you would have thought that.
Is that your phone?
Yeah, I hope not. Oh, it's my wife. Should I answer?
Silent, buddy.
Yeah, it's on. It was on silent, but it still goes. How does that happen? It literally.
So, Rogan, he's not pleased. A lot of Americans are not pleased. Okay, here's Alan Dershowitz saying he was introduced to Jeffrey Epstein by Lady and Lord Rothschild. That goes all the way to the top, doesn't it?
So I did absolutely categorically nothing wrong. And, that's what lawyers do and that's what people do. I was introduced to him by the Lady and Lord Rothschild.
Wow.
And I was told, yeah, and he knew all the most prominent people.
Yeah, of course he knew all the prominent people, right? Ghislaine Maxwell spilling the tea on nearly 100 different people who could be connected to Epstein during her 2-day meeting with Justice Department officials, as we have been reporting. And now we have this. On July 6, 2007, a 23-page letter from Epstein's lawyers, Alan Dershowitz and Gerald Lefcourt, said that Epstein was co-founder, I didn't know this, of the Clinton Global Initiative, which became the Clinton Foundation. Epstein was the co-founder of the Clinton Global Initiative. All right, let that sink in. The letter was tied to a successful plea deal before Epstein was charged. This directly ties Hillary and Bill Clinton to the Epstein network. Here's the letter. Don't believe me. Sent by Federal Express. Boom. Connecting. I did not know. I mean, I'm actually blown away. I didn't realize it. I mean, I knew there was a connection, that Billy liked to go down there and hang out on the island, but I had no idea that Epstein was connected directly to the Clinton Foundation. Here's an interesting point. I don't know if many people have brought this up, but Virginia Giuffre claims she was forced to do things with several powerful men, including, as you can see on the screen, a former prime minister. The allegation was revealed by Alan Dershowitz, who cited her claims while attempting to undermine her credibility. Giuffre also named Prince Andrew, New Mexico's former governor Bill Richardson, MIT professor Marvin Minsky, Hyatt chairman Tom Pritzker, and others. And Dershowitz sued Giuffre into silence. And we're finding out this. I'm not sure. This was posted 2 days ago. I've heard about this. Release the list, Myrna X says. So this person can be exposed. They write that friendly reminder that this liberal turd meathead was on Epstein's island. What was he doing there? Yeah. Also this. What does the Justice Department want out of Ghislaine Maxwell? She's a proven liar and trafficker. The timing of her meeting with Deputy Attorney General Blanche doesn't pass the sniff test. Senate Judiciary Committee posting this from the Democrat side. Now, of course, her meeting could lead to a commutation. It could lead to a pardon, as you heard in the earlier clip. What would that do? I'm sure people would be up in arms. But again, we have to, I don't know. Like, what do you guys think? Do you think that her sentence could be commuted so that we could get the answers? So we can get the full truth and nothing but the truth? I don't know. So President Trump, of course, overseas, still being hammered regarding Epstein. I mean, he's overseas right now. He's in Europe, and he's getting asked questions about this stuff. Let's check out this.
Do you regret the relationship that you maintained with him against Melinda's advice and wishes?
Oh, I've said that this is, you're going way back in time, but yeah,
New audience.
I will say for the, over 100th time, yeah, I shouldn't have had dinners with him.
Epstein had a way of sexually compromising people. Is that what Melinda was warning you about?
No. I mean, no, I had dinner with him, and that's all.
And that you regret the relationship, the acquaintance?
That I had dinner with him.
And the relationship between the foundation and Epstein, which
there never was any relationship of any kind.
Yeah, sure thing, Billy Gates. Sure thing. Okay, continuing. We also have... Oh, okay, I think that covers it. Yeah, so a lot of people still pretty upset. I think the question right now remains is what's going to happen on August 11th when we have the testimony under oath to the oversight committee that James Comer is the committee chairman of, and whether or not we're going to see a pardon on the table. So you guys tell me what you think about that. And if you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So why does this matter? It's because the Epstein scandal isn't ancient history. It's active corruption. When Chris Cuomo admits the left buried this story when they had power, when Joe Rogan says you can't hide from the metadata anymore, even when Trump is suing media giants for defamation, we're watching the entire protection racket crumble. For years, they called us conspiracy theorists, said asking questions made us crazy. Now Ghislaine is talking, naming names, cutting deals. Alan Dershowitz admits the Rothschilds introduced him to Epstein. Virginia Guffey's testimony keeps getting validated, and suddenly everyone who mocked us is real quiet. So here's the question. Do you believe we'll ever see the full client list, yes or no? Drop an answer in the comments, and while you're fired up, check out the merch shop. It's linked below. Wear your truth on your sleeve, because America deserves answers. All right, we are moving right along. We got more news on the Obamagate front, so don't go anywhere. I know what you're thinking. Guys, hey, he's done with the big story. No, there's a lot of big news today. A lot of big news. We are just getting started on the Raw feed, so thank you for joining us tonight. Okay, we got General Flynn coming up. We've got a lot to unfold in this next segment. Just letting Brian get warmed up here. Don't go anywhere. We're just getting started. All right, guys? Let me know when you're ready to go. The walls are closing in, but not on who they told you about. Now, the former FBI agent Peter Strzok is frantically deleting his ex-post like a teenager caught with a fake ID. Ukrainian whistleblowers are confirming what we suspected all along. The Obama White House orchestrated the Russia hoax from day one. Tulsi Gabbard just went nuclear with declassified evidence. General Flynn is demanding justice. Even Obama's own CIA director admitted under oath that they were ordered to protect Hillary. The two-tier justice system is not a theory anymore. It's documented fact, and now the hunters have become the hunted. So stay tuned. Speaking of things that drain your strength, the deep state's lies have been sapping America's vitality for years. Most guys think their testosterone is being drained by aging, bad genetics, or maybe even a lack of evidence. But what if I told you that's not the case? In fact, the real culprit's something you're likely eating daily, and here's the shocking part. It's something you've always been told is healthy. This one food has been scientifically shown to devastate testosterone levels, and most men have no idea. It's not junk food. It's not sugar. It's something way more unexpected. So head on over to sculptnation.com/NNN to watch the revealing video. That's sculptnation.com/NNN. Reclaim your strength today. You'll find it linked down below. So this in from the Daily Caller. Lawyer up, sucker. Disgraced Russiagate FBI agent purges ex-post as Trump admin bears down on Obama intel officials. Yeah, remember Peter Strzok? Oh, that guy. Who could ever forget his face that he made? This comes from the Daily Caller. What is that? Former FBI agent, these ads. Former FBI agent Peter Strzok deleted all of his posts on social media X Monday. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard released documents in a memo July 18th detailing what she called a years-long coup against President Trump after he defeated former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in the 2016 presidential race. Strzok had been a key player in the unfounded allegations that Trump's 2016 campaign colluded with Russia. Are they? Yeah, the unfounded allegations. That's right, because that was the claim that was being made from Obama, including intervening to prevent the FBI from closing a probe into retired Army Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, who was Trump's first national security advisor in his first term. The deletion of the post come following Gabbard's referral of the documents to the Justice Department for criminal investigation, with former FBI Director James Comey, former CIA Director John Brennan among those names as potential targets of the Justice Department strike force. Here is, you can see a screenshot here of Peter Strzok's expost, and nothing's there. Strzok now serves as a contributor on MSNBC. Of course he does. And as an adjunct professor at Georgetown University. Since his firing, Strzok has repeatedly appeared on MSNBC to defend not only his performance, but also to regularly target Trump for colluding with Russia. So now he's panic deleting all of his posts on X. Now we have General Michael Flynn asking the question, when will somebody finally be held accountable? The American people have shown remarkable patience, and we have, haven't we? I mean, you know, when the left goes and burns down cities, what are we doing? I mean, we're acting civilly. We're operating within the law to demand justice, and sadly, justice escapes us far too often because of the two-tier justice system. He writes, they have listened to the rhetoric, witnessed the rampant corruption, and suffered under a two-tiered system of justice that protects the elite while punishing everyone else. Enough is enough. We can no longer tolerate cover-ups, meaningless special investigations, or endless congressional testimonies. The evidence is undeniable. Accountability is no longer optional. It is now required. And he tags Trump, Vance, Bondi, Patel, Gabbard, and Bongino. And he attached this video. Let's listen.
This country's constitution.
Whoop, where'd it go? Here it is.
A system of government. Yes. John Brennan, Jim Clapper, Jim Comey, Susan Rice, all these people that continue to this day to undermine this country's constitutional system of government. You know, it's like, when is somebody going to be held to account? That's what the American people want to see. Never mind Epstein and P. Diddy. Give me a break. Yes. John Brennan, Jim Clapper.
Yeah, he's naming names. He's just as pissed off. Gunter Eagleman responding, people have to be held accountable or it will get worse. Dan Bongino posting just the other day that there is going to be a huge bomb to drop very soon. And of course, we're all waiting. One American News unraveling Obama's Russiagate hoax. Former Ukrainian diplomat, currently sanctioned by U.S. Treasury Department after blowing the whistle on Obama's White House, asking Ukraine to dig for fake Russia connections with Trump. Whoa, listen.
These Ukrainian diplomats. February of 2016 is just a month after the Obama administration and these Ukrainian officials colluded. They sat together at the White House. I mean, Andriy Telizhenko came forward and told that whole story. And he told it at the time. He didn't tell it like 5 years later, yes, where we have to, you know, kind of think about, well, what's his motivation or whatever. Right. No, he just came out and he said, I was one of these Ukrainian diplomats, and this is what happened. And it's exactly what you laid out earlier. They colluded to try and frame something to do with Trump and Russia, Ukrainians and Obama officials, January of 2016. And boom, a month later, there's Brennan saying, oh, we got a tip from Ukraine that Russia is colluding with the Trump campaign.
You see how it works? He dug a little bit too deep. Lady G writes, this is quite comical considering the fact that we just watched the Democrat Party relentlessly go out to President Trump since he was elected, out to get President Trump since he was elected into office, from the lies of Russiagate to the numerous political warfare cases. Western Lensman, Obama's wingman, says he's concerned about the politicization of Trump's DOJ. Are you freaking kidding me? Eric Holder, he's concerned about politicization at the DOJ. Give me a frickin' break.
Sounds kind of like I mean, I have no idea what Bongino was talking about, and I don't necessarily want to go into the the workings of his mind. That's a place I simply don't want to be. But I think we should put a pin in that. And let's see, okay, when we finally get to what they will call the resolution of this matter, has the matter been resolved in a way that's consistent with what he is saying, which sounds kind of like a neutral way in which they are looking at these matters. And we'll see if, in fact, they did that. We'll see what the results are. This notion in that statement that we're not politicizing things, it runs headlong into these bothersome things called the facts. And this administration has used the Justice Department, has used the power, the investigatory power of the Justice Department to target political opponents of the president. I mean, you've seen Donald Trump talk about a whole range of things, most ridiculous, to talk about the possibility of indicting, prosecuting for treason Barack Obama. I mean, these are dangerous kinds of things that this president is talking about. And I'm really concerned that this Justice Department.
Yeah, you know what? Holder, just put a sock in it, buddy. Okay? Your team actually indicted President Trump, a former president. So you're going to complain that Trump is going to go ahead and he's going to call out Obama and his administration, and Tulsi Gabbard are going to call out Obama for treason and say he should be indicted? Okay, you guys set the precedent. All right? You mess with the bull, you're getting the horns now. You guys weaponized the Department of Justice. You targeted President Trump since day one. So everything coming out of your mouth here is ridiculous. I mean, of course, it's MSNBC. The viewers there are going to eat it up.
Under Bondi, under Patel, will do things that are inconsistent with the traditions of the department and put at risk the lives and well-being of many people in this country who are, for whatever reason, politically opposed to or take political positions that are inconsistent with the desires of this president. I mean,
nice try there, Holder. Nice try. Oh, and speaking of nice try, here we have John Bolton, Ed Krasenstein. John Bolton talking about Tulsi Gabbard's frivolous Obama investigation. She strung together a series of things that aren't necessarily related. Oh, yeah?
Imagined evidence. Well,
I mean, this guy worked in the Trump administration. And he's just part of the establishment. He's part of the deep state. Okay. He thinks he's Mark Twain with that mustache. Not as smart, though.
Well, I think it's got a lot of attention, that's for sure, because it's so bizarre. I hope it hasn't gotten much traction. She's strung together a series of things that are not necessarily related. She's exaggerated what actual congressional reports have said. She's imagined evidence that doesn't exist. So if anybody really gets into it, it collapses pretty quickly. But as a campaign to save her job, I think it actually worked out pretty successfully for her. Whether it succeeded in distracting from the Jeffrey Epstein affair, I don't know. But there is, in substance, nothing to it, and certainly no justification for the Justice Department to launch a criminal investigation.
Yeah, it's because he doesn't want all his friends getting arrested. And that's why he's taking the other side. Here we have... let's go and check in with John Brennan, who was talking with Jen Psaki, lashing out at Tulsi Gabbard.
About Tulsi Gabbard, she may be impaired on the ethics front, certainly, but she's not impaired on the intellect front. And so I can only presume that she is doing this intentionally mischaracterizing, misrepresenting, and lying about what she has found.
Yeah,
Tulsi
lying,
Gabbard,
sure. If there's anyone that knows what lying is, it's that guy. Okay, and Tulsi Gabbard is not a liar. Okay, so now people are issuing warnings about Tulsi Gabbard. Many don't realize the grave danger she's in. She's no typical politician. She's not kissing donors or spewing scripts. Instead, she's waging war on the deep state, exposing Obama as the puppet master behind the Russia hoax, weaponizing FBI, CIA, IRS, and DOJ against Trump. Let's listen to this guy's take.
It's not flinching. So most of you scrolling right now have zero clue how much danger Tulsi Gabbard's actually in. And no, this ain't some dramatic reality TV nonsense. This is real. Tulsi's not out here playing your typical politician's game, kissing up the donors or spitting rehearsed lines. No, she's straight up waging war on the deep state, naming names, dropping the rot into light. And she's not flinching, even though she knows.
No, she's not. And we're probably going to get a claim for that music. Let's keep going here. 24 hours ago, CIA John Ratcliffe, Lisa Page confirmed to me under oath that the FBI was ordered by the Obama DOJ not to consider charging Hillary Clinton for gross negligence in the handling of classified information. Exactly this lines up with the information Tulsi Gabbard has declassified and made public. It is time for accountability. And Lady Vet posts a video here. FBI and DOJ ordered by Barack Obama not to arrest Hillary Clinton. Let's listen in.
Former U.S. Attorney about what the Obama Justice Department ordered federal lawyers to do and not to do concerning the Hillary Clinton email investigation. Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge tells us in sworn testimony on Capitol Hill, one of the insiders told lawmakers what she was told. During closed-door testimony last summer, former FBI lawyer Lisa Page said the Obama administration's Justice Department advised the FBI not to pursue the gross negligence statute for Hillary Clinton in the mishandling of classified information. Former U.S. Attorney and House Republican John Ratcliffe led the line of questioning about the statute, known as 18 U.S.C. 793. Ratcliffe, you're making it sound like it was the department that told you you're not going to charge gross negligence because we're the prosecutors. Page interrupted. That is correct. Page's testimony appears to conflict with then FBI Director James Comey's recommendation in July 2016 against criminal charges for Clinton.
What I can assure the American people is that this investigation was done honestly, competently, and independently. No outside influence of any kind was brought to bear.
The Republican-led House Oversight and Judiciary Committee investigation ended in January. With Democrats now in control, the committee's new ranking Republican made the Page transcript public.
The transcript releases show an inherent two-tier system, one in which Hillary Clinton gets the treatment that she got, where there was actually at first concern that they were going to charge her, and then with Loretta Lynch in charge, before she recused herself, made it very clear that that was not going to happen.
The tip-off came from a chart drawn up by federal investigators assigned to the Clinton case known as mid-year exam. Fox News has confirmed that the chart listed possible federal statutes for prosecution. Next to gross negligence was a notation, quote, DOJ not willing to charge this. Only known cases are military. Cases when accused lost the information. In response to the Page revelations, the president tweeted the transcripts, quote, make the Obama Justice Department look exactly like it was, a broken and corrupt machine. The Page transcript also confirms Fox's earlier reporting. The Page testified Russia collusion was still unproven when special counsel Robert Mueller was appointed. Brett?
So do you guys see what's going on here? I mean, they said we're not going to prosecute. And now we have the head of the CIA revealing more information. Everything's lining up. Holy cow. And here's the big bombshell moment when former Tulsi Gabbard, former U.S. president, may be charged with treason and attempted coup due to the Russian trace.
On multiple intelligence community assessments.
Tulsi Gabbard at the White House.
Multiple intelligence community assessments released in the months leading up to the November 2016 election concluded that Russia had neither the intent nor capability to impact the outcome of the U.S. election. On December 5th.
We've been listening there to the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
And of course, there's CNN cutting in as she is dropping bombshell after bombshell on Barack Obama. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is the death rattle of the deep state. When Peter Strzok starts deleting posts, when Brennan goes on friendly networks to attack Tulsi, when Ukrainian diplomats risk sanctions to expose Obama's pressure campaign, you are witnessing pure panic. They spent years telling us that Trump was a Russian asset while they were the ones fabricating evidence, weaponizing the FBI, and protecting Hillary from prosecution. Lisa Page confirmed it under oath. The fix was in from the top. Now Tulsi's talking treason charges. General Flynn's demanding accountability. Even the left can't keep their story straight anymore. The same people who screamed about norms and diplomacy and democracy literally fabricated an international conspiracy to overthrow an elected president. So here's my question. Should Obama's officials face criminal charges for the Russia hoax? Yes or no in the comments. Let's continue the conversation. Make sure you grab your Next News gear from the shop. It's linked down below. Trigger Liberal today at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. All right, checking in on the chat. Okay, audio and video good. Yes, see, we have, yes, audio, video. You guys are all on it. Thank you guys. Yes, Brian was here all weekend trying to resolve this for you guys because he loves you so much and he loves me. So, yeah, so that's why we're using a different system. We're not having any problems. So it's clearly not our internet. It was the software we were using. Okay. Anthony Weiner's wife, whom at Aberdeen prison, please. Cops will not arrest another cop for drunk driving. What? Okay. Let's see. Let's go into our next topic of the evening. The problem with this format is it doesn't allow me to really interact with you as well as I'd like to, because the systems are kind of disconnected here. Not that I'm used to. The other system is much better and it's much cleaner. So eventually we will, they'll figure it out and we'll get it back on track. Okay. 7 months ago, the Palisades burned. Celebrities held a massive concert. $100 million poured in for victims, and not one single penny reached a family who lost their home. Now, a reality TV star turned whistleblower has exposed where the money really went, including $50 million to an NGO run by the governor's wife. The funds have vanished. A congressman is demanding a federal investigation. The attorney general is now involved, and suddenly everyone's asking the same question. How does disaster relief money just disappear? The answer involves names that you know and corruption that you suspected, so don't go anywhere. Now, you probably think your 401k is safe, but it wasn't designed to make you wealthy. It was built to shift retirement costs and risk onto you, leaving your savings exposed to crashes, inflation, and chaos. But Americans are waking up and taking control with real assets like gold. Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands secure their future by converting part of their 401k into a tax-advantaged gold IRA without penalties or headaches. It's safe and simple and smart. Visit nextnewsgold.com to get your free wealth protection kit and discover how to safeguard your savings. Open a qualified account today and receive 2 5-ounce silver America the Beautiful coins absolutely free. That's nextnewsgold.com, your exit from the danger zone. Call that number on the screen, 877-646-5347. And when you call, tell Colin Gary said hi. Okay, so a California representative, Kevin Kiley, is now officially asking the Attorney General to investigate where the missing $100 million in Pacific Palisades money went, the fire aid. He confirms it went to questionable nonprofits. Gavin Newsom, started a new NGO and took money, allegedly. Listen.
Mr. Speaker, I have asked Attorney General Pam Bondi to open an investigation into the fire aid concert that took place in the aftermath of the devastating Los Angeles fires. What has happened, what we have learned, is absolutely beyond belief. In the aftermath of these fires, which destroyed 18,000 homes and killed, tragically, 30 people, there was a fire aid concert in which a number of high-profile musicians generously agreed to perform, and people responded in an amazing way. Tens of thousands of people donated, raising $100 million for what they were told was direct relief for the victims. But now we've learned that this money didn't go to the victims at all. Instead, it went to nonprofits, some of which have nothing to do with fire relief, where they promote things like voting and civic engagement and multi-generational power building. Some of them aren't even located in LA. So I've asked the Attorney General to open an investigation in order to restore the intent of the donors, in order to make the victims whole and to bring accountability. I yield back. Mr. Speaker,
yield back.
I have asked Attorney General.
Yeah, this is not over. Here's his tweet. I call for an investigation of how fire aid distributed $100 million raised for LA fire victims. Now a nonprofit focused on civic engagement received a grant, has returned the money. This is the right thing to do. These funds were intended for the victims. Listen.
Voting and Well, I think transparency is what's needed here. And I know that there was one organization that has been cited that I actually cited in my letter that appears to have really nothing to do with fire relief, that is involved in civic engagement and voting. And I understand that the grant has been returned from that organization. So I guess that's one thing to do, that if there are other examples like that, of where maybe the funds were not allocated to the right type of organizations, then they can be redirected to the right kind of organizations, or ultimately to what will most expeditiously get the funds to the victims themselves, so many of whom are still struggling to rebuild. Unfortunately, for a whole host of reasons, I think it's been more difficult for a lot of people than it should be.
So this was obviously $100 million in private money. Governor Newsom is asking for $40 billion in public money from Congress. You talked about that process already. Where are we at in terms of getting that money? And could our aid essentially be coupled with Texas and other states that have gone through similar disasters or their own disasters? You think we're going to get that money?
Yeah, I think that, we want to make sure that folks in LA get the help that they need. That is certainly a top priority for me. It's very possible that it'll be coupled with other types of relief for other regions. That's happened in disaster bills that we've done in the past. I will say there is a lot of concern about making sure that the funding that is provided, if it ends up being distributed by the state or by Los Angeles, that it ultimately gets in the right hands and gets to the people who need it, because this is something that our state has not, and Los Angeles, frankly, has not always had the best record of. And I think there's also the question of the political barriers that continue to exist to the rebuilding process. So we want to make sure that people get the funds they need to recover and rebuild, and they actually have the ability to do so within the jurisdiction that they're in. So those are all questions that I think are related to one another.
Okay, continuing on here. Here is a woman who explains perfectly how Spencer Pratt is taking down Gavin Newsom for over $100 million that was supposed to go to LA fire victims. Instead, $50 million went to an NGO that Newsom's wife runs. That money is MIA.
I've seen any. Watching Spencer Pratt take down Gavin Newsom is the best thing on the internet right now. Gavin Newsom threw a charity event where all these celebrities came and played a concert and raised $100 million for the fire victims of LA. Problem is, none of those fire victims has seen any of the money. So, C-list celebrity Spencer Pratt went digging to find out why. Spencer and Heidi Pratt's home burned down in the fires, and they have had all kinds of trouble trying to get permits to rebuild their home. Meanwhile, old Gavin Newsom's out here doing a land grab to build his low-income homes. So when Spencer started his digging to see exactly where this $100 million has gone, he discovered that $50 million of it had basically gone into Gavin Newsom's pocket. So now that Spencer has brought so much attention to it, an investigative journalist from Circle the News has gotten involved, and she has done her own digging on where this money has gone. She has discovered that instead of the money going directly to victims, that the money is going to several nonprofits. Some of these nonprofits are actually using the money to help victims and going to their nonprofits to provide things for victims, but many of those have zero ties to victims whatsoever. One of the nonprofits that received the largest financial grant is called Cal Volunteers. Guess who is the chair of that nonprofit? None other than Gavin Newsom's wife. So y'all go follow along, because this is so interesting that the Attorney General's getting involved to find out exactly what old Newsom is doing with the money for these victims. And anybody that exposes Gavin Newsom has my full support. Mind you, this is all alleged. I do not need some dirty Democrat coming after me.
This is all alleged. Alleged, right? That's how you got to frame it. So who is Spencer Pratt? Well, he is all over social media right now, and he is pissed as hell. Listen.
For anybody asking about me suing California and Los Angeles, this intelligent person breaks down our lawsuit perfectly, so please enjoy, get your popcorn, and you can see exactly what caused the Pacific Palisades fire. It's very, very clear.
Incentives, and we end up seeing the victims of the fires just get steamrolled. Fortunately, we have Alexander Robertson, who's the lead attorney, in filing this amended complaint against the city of Los Angeles. According to this filing, they believe that this was a rekindle of the Lockman fire, which ignited on New Year's Eve. This lawsuit alleges that they did not use thermal sensing equipment to make sure that the fire was dead out. The other issue, that reservoir, the San Ynez Reservoir that services the Palisades, was completely offline and was completely empty. This extra distance they had to travel past the San Ynez helipad led to an increase of 6.5 hours. One of the biggest bombshells out of this, LADWP did not de-energize their lines. Not only does it create a potential hazard for more ignitions, but it's a safety hazard for firefighters. They're not going to be operating underneath power lines unless they know that they're de-energized. The other thing is, they were supposed to have replaced all of these wooden power poles years ago. That work never got done, and we're left with those wooden poles, which, as you can see, did not fare well. Allegedly, City of Los Angeles ignored its own brush clearance ordinances, and overgrown brush on city-owned vacant lots caught fire in the Castellamare section of the Palisades, which contributed to the rapid spread of the fire and destruction of homes. Allegedly, the failures of the City of Los Angeles were monumental and were directly responsible for the destruction of thousands of homes and loss of life in the Palisades fire.
For anybody asking about me suing California and Los Angeles, this intelligent person
so Spencer Pratt, like I said, he's all over social media, blowing the whistle on this. Here he is more. It's been 7 months. Newsom, where's the independent investigation into Karen Bass?
Water system. Also called for an independent investigation into the issues around water supply that we've seen. What are the questions that you're hoping to answer?
The same ones you're asking. Same ones that people when I'm in the streets are asking, yelling about. What the hell happened? What happened to the water system? Was it, and by the way, was it just overwhelmed that you had so much that was used? We drew it down. Was it pipes? Was it electricity? It was a combination of pipes, electricities, and pumps. What was that drawdown impossible because you lost 7,000+ structures right here anyway, and every single structure we lost had a pipe that was leaking, and we would have lost that water pressure anyway. Did it contribute in any way?
It's been 7 months. I would love to see this independent investigation to get down to what happened with the water. You mean the empty reservoirs that Karen Bass and the LADWP knew about? That. Can we get that investigation, please? Thank you.
Also called for an independent.
Yeah, we'll never see that investigation because it all points to Gavin Newsom. Here's more.
Newsom. Mark these words, like I said. Y'all, Spencer Pratt is going to take down Gavin Newsom. Mark these words, like I said earlier. He is going to ruin Gavin Newsom's political career. And he didn't even start getting petty until I have been following Spencer from the very beginning of all of this. He didn't start getting petty until Gavin Newsom's press office got petty. They called him a C-list celebrity. That's when the turn happened. Because at first he was very diplomatic. Very much so. And that was one of the biggest political blunders. And I love political blunders. It's my specialty. I like to talk about them. That's one of the biggest ones I've seen in a very, very long time. Here you have Spencer, who lost everything in the fires, who accurately called out very serious concerns, very serious criticisms. And instead of just responding to those in a way that a politician should, a way that a governor's office should, that cares about its citizens, they called him a C-list celebrity and thought that was cute. One of the most arrogant, out-of-touch things I ever saw. Spencer Pratt really might be the end of Gavin Newsom. Spencer is beating me at my own game. I tried to end Gavin Newsom. I was signing people up to recall Gavin Newsom.
Okay. Well, good luck to you there. So the fire scandal is just getting started. $50 million to Gavin Newsom's wife's NGO. Unbelievable. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Now, Spencer Pratt did what every journalist in California refused to do. He followed the money. $100 million raised for fire victims, and these criminals sent it to civic engagement nonprofits instead. $50 million to Newsom's wife organization, now mysteriously missing. This is not incompetence, it's straight up theft. While families slept in their cars, while kids lost everything, while communities turned to ash, Gavin Newsom and his cronies were dividing up charity money like mob bosses. Even Democrats are calling it criminal. Representative Kevin Kiley got Trump's AG involved, and nonprofits are panicking, returning money, but where's the rest? So here's my question. Should Gavin Newsom face criminal charges for the missing fire aid? Yes or no? Light up those comments and support real journalism at our Next News merch shop. You'll find the link in the description where you can trigger a liberal today at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. All right. No, we will never know. No one will go to jail. I love my N3 hat, says Pothead Kenny. Joe Biden's government. Be sure to hit that like button. Some people are already going. Hi, Kenny. No. Peanut, they have a problem coming to my house. Absolutely. Who cares? All right, guys. Trying to read these comments. Newsom for Alcatraz, first new inmate. I can agree with that. The low-hanging fruit are already going. Got a photo of Hillary at Ghetto Museum. What? Nobody trusts Dirty Newsom. He should be arrested. Citizens of California, take back your state. Joe Biden has a children's cancer charity that's collected millions and helped 0 kids. Wow. Okay, moving right along. And our fifth topic tonight, you don't want to miss. I had a little, let's just say I had to go get some new tires for my DeLorean today. And we had a pretty remarkable revelation. I wonder if I could play it. Maybe I could play it here. I could show you it. Maybe I'll try to get that prepared. But that's coming up after this segment. Super cool experience. But had to get some tires, and I got a chance to ride in an electric DeLorean that was modified with Tesla motors and batteries. Super cool. Like, wait till you see this video. It's something else. But first, we're going to go and find out what happened with the EU trade deal. President Trump is kicking butt in the EU today. So let's go and hit that topic. Even CNN can't spin this one. Trump just pulled off what they said was impossible. A trade deal so devastating to European bureaucrats are calling it historic. For decades, Europe played America like a ATM machine. They dumped their subsidized products, destroyed our markets, and laughed while we picked up the check. Well, not anymore. From his Turnberry golf course, Trump just rewrote the rules of global trade. Former critics are calling it genius. Economists are stunned. And the establishment that said his tariff threats would never work, well, now they're eating their words, and the details are going to shock you. So stay right there. And just like Trump is reshaping global trade to increase American strength, you can increase your body's circulation naturally. The American healthcare system is broken. Big Pharma charges an arm and a leg, while insurance companies focus on growing spending. So I'm always researching natural solutions. One overlooked factor is improving blood flow. That means more oxygen to your brain, heart muscles, and everywhere that needs help as you age. I use Blood Flow 7 from Juvenon. It boosts nitric oxide levels 230%, opens arteries up to 62%. With one dose daily, it's improved my stamina, energy, focus, and supported my heart health without caffeine or stimulants. Visit bloodflow7.com/NNN to get more information. That's bloodflow7.com/NNN. Improve your circulation today. You'll find it linked in the description. Okay, so the KPMG chief economist says the EU trade deal is a win for Trump. This is on CNN. We're starting to see an end game emerge. Tariffs are reshaping supply chains with effects already hitting prices and employment, yet the biggest impact is still to come. Listen to this.
Here, having a deal, of course, I assume is better than not having one, but a 15% tariff is higher than the 10% baseline that Trump placed on the EU back in April 2nd. Who is this deal a win for?
Well, I think it is a win for the administration. In terms of our clients and what we're dealing with, they wanted to see some clarity, and we're starting to see an end game emerge, even though we're not to the end yet, in terms of what will tariffs be, how do we deal with our supply chains, how do we adjust to this new environment. And that is the next phase of this. And part of the reason everyone keeps saying, well, when are tariffs going to affect us? Well, they have. We've had the mother of all front running tariffs that we've ever seen in terms of buying and stockpiling up and mitigating the effects of tariffs before they came in. But what's important is we're talking about moving the effective tariff rate in the United States from below 3% at the beginning of the year to what looks like will easily be double its current rate, which is around 9 to 10%, that people are starting to see sift its way into some of the consumer prices that we see out there and into employment. So the bulk of the effects are still ahead of us. It takes 6 to 18 months for these things to show up. We're not a full 6 months in all the way, but at least we're starting to see some clarity on where the end game likely will be, even though we don't have all those details even for this Friday, which is this Friday coming up, in terms of what all the details are. They're starting to get a sense of, okay,
so let's continue. Here's rapid response 47. Trump has done it. It's a complete win so far, says Megyn Kelly on the landmark EU trade deal with Victor David Hanson. Listen.
In tariff, it was one-sided. Our so-called friends who we got such a hard time for not being nice to, were taking advantage of us, Victor. And now Trump's done it. He's taking in tariff income. He's getting them to invest in the country, and our companies get to sell their goods over there. I mean, it's a complete win so far.
It is. If I could just detour a bit, Megan, for 5 years I farmed full time, and I did it part time here on my farm for 15 years. And I grew raisins, and the EU subsidized and dumped their raisins with a $500 subsidy a ton. And it destroyed the raisin market in the 1980s. And my point is that when Reagan officials, whom I liked, came out to explain, you know what they said to us? This is good for you, because this was the traditional economic exegesis that if they subsidize and we don't, then we're going to have kind of a Darwinian, only the strongest will survive, and that's good. And you'd say, well, you can't survive when they have a $500 dumping advantage. And then they'd say, well, they won't be able to sustain it. And they did sustain it. And then they'll say it's going to lower prices for Americans that if you get less, and it didn't. Dealing with this economic orthodoxy for a long profit margin was for the Japanese, the Chinese, the Europeans in this market. It could have been 20 or 30, but my point is that they apparently have calculated that as long as it's 15%, they're going to make plenty of money without having to raise prices and get in a trade war as the entry charge to get into this huge consumer market. And everybody said that's not true, but apparently they have made a calculated decision that they will make plenty of money, pay the tariff, and be here.
It was one-sided.
Win, win, win. Let's see. Here's President Trump hosting Keir Starmer at Trump Turnberry for a meeting. Thank you very much. You've done a great job.
The trade deal. Thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister. And you've done a fantastic job with regard to the trade deal. You know, they wanted a trade deal here for years, many years, through many different terms of different people, and you got it done. So I want to congratulate you on that. And it's a great deal for both. It brings unity. We didn't need unity, but it brings us even closer together. I think it's good for both parties. Thank you very much, Mr.
President Trump, very happy. Here is CNN. Jeff Zeleny. This is the biggest trade deal in President Trump's effort to reshape the global trading order.
Isabel, the bottom line is this is the biggest trade deal in President Trump's effort to effectively reshape the global trading order. That has been one of his central priorities since taking office in January. He's been issuing many threats of tariffs, but they clearly have been working in terms of bringing other countries, allies, and adversaries alike, in some cases, to the negotiating table. And the latest example was today here in Scotland when the leader of the European Commission, who of course is negotiating for the European Union, she agreed to a 15% across-the-board tariff. Now that is significantly higher than the 10% tariffs in existence now, but it's much lower than the 30% threat that was coming on Friday and the 50% threat that was made in May. So clearly there has been an instance where the president has been using his threats of higher tariffs as a negotiating tactic, and in this case, it certainly worked. Isabel, the bottom line is
in this case, it certainly worked. Okay, what have we got here? Former Commerce Secretary Carlos Gutierrez on the breakthrough U.S. trade deal.
Ago. On this deal, the European Union, this is a big win for the U.S. And if you look at where this was 3-4 weeks ago, you could see that there was a lot of hardball towards the end there. On this deal, the European Union, this is a big win.
Here's Terry Hines on the landmark EU-U.S. trade deal.
I think it's a triumph of a lot of things. Certainly, the president ought to take a victory lap. I think it ends up being good for the European Union. It's a blow against the conventional wisdom, which, of course, in the last quarter saw a lot of this as disastrous. The markets see the fact of the deal and the ratification of trade and the expansion of trade as the most important thing. And number one. Number two, I think there's a situation here where, as you've alluded to in your questioning with Tyler, that the geopolitical element of this also remains front and center, whether we're talking about the continued interdependence of the U.S. and European Union economies, or whether we're talking about investments in the United States and purchases of military equipment. You're seeing a tightening of the alliance, and I think, frankly, an attempt by both parties to push back a bit against China. It's a triumph.
Pushing back against China. Even MSDNC can't cope with how much America won with the EU trade deal. Gunter Eagleman writes, I think they're tired of all the winning, just like Trump said they would be. It's incredibly favorable for the United States. I mean, you look at this, it's been very one-sided. Even MSDNC.
They emerge fine.
The U.S. take any hits with this deal? And what does it say, this outcome say about the president's ability to negotiate?
It's incredibly favorable for the United States. And when you look at this, it's been very one-sided. I mean, the U.S. has been making the demands. These other countries have had to kind of contort and comport themselves to them. So they emerge fine here. But what's going to change is over the next weeks and months, as countries and trading partners like the EU look at this episode and think, can we trust this relationship with the U.S.? Can it continue? I think even looking at this deal, framework of which we don't have a ton of details. If that somehow goes south or changes, what's a trading partner like the EU to do? So we see them broaching new relationships with their other trading partners, looking for other opportunities. And I think that's going to be kind of the message here going forward. What's the legacy of these talks, of these threats going to be? And how are other countries going to kind of look at trade going forward? How are they going to change their tack now after all of this?
China is still a big question mark, and we know there are talks happening today, right, in Stockholm. Where do things stand there?
So we heard from the president this.
The U.S. take any hit?
President Trump can take a victory lap, and if you got value for this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is what winning looks like. While career politicians talk, Trump acted. He weaponized tariffs like a master chess player, forcing Europe to finally play fair after decades of ripping us off. Victor David Hanson, he knows the EU subsidies destroyed American raisin farmers in the 80s. Now multiply that across every industry. For years, we got surplus from them, deficits for us. Trump just flipped the table. Even Trump haters like CNN admit it was the biggest trade victory in modern history. Megyn Kelly called it a complete win. Former critics taking victory laps. The establishment is threatening tariffs, said threatening tariffs would backfire. Instead, it brought Europe to their knees. This is not economics, it's respect. So here's the question. Is Trump the greatest trade negotiator in presidential history? Yes or no? And drop a comment. We'll continue the conversation. And you can show your American pride with Next News merch. You'll find it linked below where you can trigger a liberal today. It's shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. All right. Okay. Folks receiving gifts. All right. I want to get to the next segment. It's running late, but I really want to play this for you guys. And it's a personal experience I had today. I think you really enjoy it, especially my reaction. So, Brian, get ready to play these clips full screen when they come up. I know you've got them loaded. Yes. Okay, so basically, I'll explain more during the clip, during the segment officially. But I'm going to show you something I've been working on for like 3 years. Okay. Basically, you know, during the pandemic, I purchased a DeLorean, and then we converted it into a Back to the Future time machine. And when I'm not doing political stuff, what I like to do is we rent it out for weddings and events, corporations, and all kinds of things. And when I purchased the car, I decided that I would also purchase a truck. And if you know about the movie, the car is revealed out of the truck, right? So it took about 3 years to create the truck and get it running properly. It was a 1975 International. Had to do a full chassis swap with a 2006 GM and do all the ramp systems and pulley systems inside to raise and lower the vehicle. So over the weekend is when we did the first full cinematic test of the reveal. And in that process, I learned something very valuable, that when you're lowering a vehicle on a ramp with a winch, you should make sure your wheel's locked so that they don't turn during the drop. And it created a scenario where I ended up blowing out a tire on the DeLorean. So that's kind of the backstory of why I was at the DeLorean shop today. Now, if you've never seen an entire shop full of beautiful DeLoreans, you're going to see that in this next clip, as well as the first official cinematic reveal that I've been working on for 3 years. So I'm really excited, and I want to share this with you guys. So let's go. Now, I just experienced something that should not exist, a fully electric DeLorean that hits 60 in 4.1 seconds. Okay, now my DeLorean will hit 60 in about 10 seconds. And this one does not require a flux capacitor. This is not some garage experiment. It's a professional conversion using Tesla motors that turns an 80s icon into tomorrow's sports car. Okay, 775 amps of pure acceleration, silent until it isn't. And you're going to hear my screens. Now, the man behind it says, he's saving these machines from barns across America, one stainless steel dream at a time. And what I discovered is going to change everything you thought you knew about classic cars, electric vehicles, and why the future might actually be better than the past, as well as the first grand revelation of something I've been working on for 3 years. Speaking of revolutionary transformations, most guys don't realize their body's performance is being sabotaged. Most guys think their testosterone is being drained by aging, bad genetics, or maybe even a lack of exercise. But what if I told you that's not the case? In fact, the real culprit is something that you're likely eating every day. And here's the shocking part. It's something that you've always been told is healthy. Now, this one food has been scientifically shown to devastate testosterone levels, and most men have no idea. It's not junk food or sugar. It's something that's way more unexpected. So head over to sculptnation.com/NNN to watch their revealing video about this testosterone killer. That's sculptnation.com/NNN. Transform your body like we are transforming classics. Now, what you're about to see is I've got 2 videos here in this segment. And the first one is something I've been working on for about 3 years. Now, if you're familiar with the film Back to the Future, you know I'm a big fan. I've got a DeLorean on my desk. I have Doc Brown's truck on my desk. I've got, a little mini Hot Wheels on my desk. The film has, growing up with that movie, it touches me. I love it. It's just one of the greatest movies ever made, one of the greatest trilogies in my opinion. So during the pandemic, we decided that we were going to purchase a DeLorean and convert it into a time machine. Now, the purpose behind that decision was because, everybody was masked up, everyone was depressed, and everyone was scared. And Angie and I said, well, let's do something different. We do the news every day. We present news and really hard information to the American people, but something that we don't do all the time, because the news can get you down. It's hard. It's hard to digest some of this stuff, but we just want to see people smile again. So we bought the car, converted it, and I said to myself, well, if we're going to transport this vehicle, we can drive it, and everywhere I drive it, I get smiles. People, thumbs up, their phones out, and it's a remarkable experience. But we decided that we would also purchase a truck, and we'd convert the truck just like Doc Brown and put ramps inside and everything. So over the weekend, we performed the very first cinematic reveal of the DeLorean from Doc Brown's van. And it was remarkable. 3 years in the making. We had this 1975 International step van. We had to do a full chassis swap. We had the same people who designed the ramp system for Universal consulting with the project and built it almost screen accurate, complete replica of the original truck, combined with a screen accurate replica of the DeLorean time machine, right down to the dust on the side of the truck. So you're going to see for the very first time something I've been working on for 3 years. And right after that, we're going to play the clip of this electric DeLorean I got to take a ride on today. So without further ado, take a look.
He's doing it with the remote. Oh my gosh.
So that was the first time we ever did it, and I learned a very valuable lesson to make sure that your steering wheel's locked when you're dropping a car on a ramp with a winch, because what happened next was that the wheel, the front wheels were caught on a groove of the ramp, and then the car went down crooked, and then the rear wheel went off the ramp, and I had to pull the car back up with the winch and ended up blowing out a tire in the process. It was very, very stressful, very scary experience. I had tested this multiple times, not in the capacity with the music and smoke or lights, but up and down. But every time I'd done it before, I had the wheel locked. This was the only time I'd ever done it without the wheel locked. The ignition accessories were on, so that allowed the wheel to turn freely, which was a big mistake. Learned a big lesson. So I had to go and get new tires for the DeLorean, which is very difficult to do because the tires are not matched correctly. The rears are different from the front, and they just don't make these types of tires. Like, very few people actually make these tires, so they're hard to find. So I had to go up to the DeLorean shop, which is not very far from me. And while I was there, I was treated to a ride in this electric DeLorean, an absolutely beautiful car. Even the rims they put on this vehicle, all done at this shop. It's in Crystal Lake. DeLorean in the Midwest is you can look him up online. Mike is the owner, great guy. That's where I bought my car, and they've got custom rims that look like OEM, beautiful vehicles. And without further ado, here's my experience driving inside a fully electric DeLorean. Go. Do you mind if I record?
No, go for it.
All right. We are getting in a fully electric DeLorean. Oh my goodness, this feels even lower than mine.
It is pretty lower. It's got KW suspension.
Okay, so okay, so we're in here. This is the wow. This is not
So
quiet.
I don't know if you can see this too well because it's sunny outside, but these gauges are all backlit, and the whole cluster has been changed to look the part of an 80s DeLorean, but it's all EV related. The only gauge that moves over is the speedometer. Everything else is more electric related. Wow. So here we've got battery percentage, we have battery temperature. This is the amps being fed to the motor. Mile per hour, which is now GPS controlled through a small mouse on the left.
Wow.
And then we have high voltage battery and low voltage battery volts. So this is a touchscreen Kenwood that has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It's a double din, and so we had to relocate the air conditioning vents, and there's one on each knee pad left and right, larger than the originals.
Wow. So in place of the RPMs, you've got amps.
Yep.
That's wild.
Yep. And you can see it as I step on the gas, it amps, reads more amps. So this has dual battery packs. So there's one in the front, one in the rear. We actually have a rear trunk in this car now, where the drivetrain went. We now have a really quite usable trunk area. And in the front, we lose the spare tire, but it's still a nice trunk as any Delorean in the front. And so aside from the EV swap, this also has upgraded wheels, upgraded Wilwood brakes, KW suspension, power steering. So we've pretty much thrown every upgrade available at this.
I could feel how tight it is.
Yeah. The wheels actually make quite a bit of a difference, because the only, as Gary's finding out today, getting tires from us, the only thing available is a Kenwood, or I'm sorry, a Hankook Kinergy tire. And they're kind of like an OK tire, definitely a touring tire. And with these rim upgrades, 2 sizes larger, 2 inches larger, we have a ultra high performance tire on this car, which really the tire quality I think makes the ride much better, because it's just way up there, and quality of tire is much better with this size rim.
I could feel the difference significantly in so many ways, just in the turning. I mean, granted, I've got an extra 500 pounds of props on my car, but this is a remarkable feel. I mean, just even the absorption of the shocks feels like a real modern normal car.
Yep. So the KW coilovers, and these are fully adjustable for ride height and for ride quality. So I think it's a bit stiff, but to be honest, this car is so low we kind of want it stiff, because I'm a little worried about road clearance. If you have a soft suspension, you're going to get more travel.
All right, so when am I going to feel the acceleration on this bad boy?
Well, this is a good straight road. Once we get past this stoplight here, this, you may recognize this is the road we usually thrash them on. It's kind of nice because there's a gravel pit on each side of the road, no driveways.
Oh, good.
So, and it's a 55, I believe, so we can kind of get up there without.
So So where did you source the batteries, the motors?
So this is a Tesla Model 3 performance drive unit. Which has to be from a salvage car, bought used. Everything else is brand new. So the battery box is custom built for the car, the dual battery boxes, I should say. All the battery cells, the battery controller, the wiring, all that's new. The only thing that's used for Tesla parts is the here goes your Marty truck.
Yeah. There's the Toyota.
He had to get around me, so we let him go. So I'm just gonna we'll do like a hard 20 to 60 pull, and we'll see how quick we can close that gap between us and the guys in front of us. That's about a 720 at pull.
Holy cow, dude.
80.
Oh my God. Dude. Holy cow. Oh my God.
Yeah. So we did a quarter mile run with a draggy and this car ran a different car with the same setup ran a 12.26. What's incredible about it was that was 12.26 on those Kinergy tires, street tires, with zero drama, no spin from the wheels. Once the car hits about 10 miles an hour, it just pulls like a freight train, which Gary just experienced for the first time.
Wow.
So.
Wow. All right. Are you gonna do anything else?
Yeah, we'll do a loop here.
Oh my, we're gonna do that again?
Yeah, if you want to.
Oh yeah, I'm happy to. Yeah. Now that I know what to expect, I can sort of focus on.
So we'll do this from a standstill. So I'll show you what I mean by
back.
Anybody who's in the drag racing world, to run a 1226, usually you have to almost have slicks on the car, and there's always a real lifting of the front end and or maybe wheel spin that's very hard to control. But what's impressive is the quick time that this runs and how there's zero drama. So we'll do from a hard pull from a stop,
okay, and
get it up to about 70 or so. And here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Oh my God!
And there we go. 6, 7. We top out at about 725 eggs, and we're at 80.
Oh my God!
And we have regen in this car, and with a lot of swaps, you wind up like them don't have good heat or air conditioning, as you can feel.
I could feel it all of a sudden changed, yeah.
Nice working air conditioning.
Wow. Wow. So that was like 0 to 80 in like.
Well, this is it's a 4.1 second 0 to 60. So 80 something range.
Wow. Yeah. Takes me about 10 seconds to get up to 60 in mine.
Yes. Shaves that quite a bit.
Wow, that was impressive, Mike. And you guys did all this work.
Yeah, so we work with another company that helps us with building of the battery boxes and does a lot of the EV converting stuff. But we removed the engine. We've done all the upgrades as far as the brakes, suspension, power steering, wheels, all that, and then we do final test drive and handle sales of these. But
so like. Standard brake system. I mean, you put the what do you call them?
Willwood is the branded caliper with a vented rotor up front.
Wow. That was crazy. That was so cool. Okay, so you got Midwest. So if anyone wants to get one, they just call you up.
Yep. If you have to have a Delorean and it's got to be electric, we're the guys to call.
Wow.
And we can help you, whether that's converting yours or helping you locate a car, and that ground up build that we deliver fully EV, we can help you either route.
And then and you guys can help find the car. You guys have cars on site.
Yep.
And you've been finding cars all over the country.
Oh yeah.
Barn finds, like, I don't know how you're doing it, but you're finding them everywhere.
To be honest, they at this point, we're kind of known for that, and the sellers come to me. I'm actually currently working on 3 deals. I think 2 of them will happen. The other one I'm not sure about, but I'm talking to a guy in California who his dad passed and he's looking to sell a car, a guy in Michigan, and a guy in New York. So there's always something in the work. 2 of them are beta projects. The other one looks like a pretty nice car. So there's always stuff coming in and the inventory changes. But yeah, we did a video recently where I counted every vehicle that we had, including a couple of mine that I have are personal vehicles, but we had 17 Deloreans for sale, which is more than pretty much all the other known resellers combined.
Well, like I said, my comments on one of your posts, I said you guys need to do a show. You need to do a show and you need to call it Delorean Rescue. Right. Where you guys just run out there and you're like, hey, we heard you had a DeLorean in the barn here. And,
yeah. Yep.
Just like the Discovery or History Channel.
Yep.
Yep.
So we, that's kind of why we launched our YouTube channel, Delorean Nation, because I feel like when I'm reselling a car, it's kind of part of my responsibility to pass the story of the car along to the new owner, right? Some guys love to eat all that stuff and want every bit of history. Other guys aren't as interested, but what better way to do that than actually show you how we found the car? And some of them are horrible, and the transformation from the way they were found in a barn to what we can do to them is that's a story in and of itself, and it's unique to every car. So it's cool to share that.
Well, I'm going to call up the guys over at History Channel, and I'm going to pitch them the idea. And then when you're rich and famous, you can just sign my autograph. At least give me an autograph.
Okay, sounds good.
That'd be fine.
We actually have a show that should be coming up soon. I haven't said anything. I'll probably say something on our social But there's a show on Discovery coming up on August 5th.
Well, be careful what you say. This might go out to 2 million people. So.
Well, there's a show on Discovery that's called Extreme Detailing, and they I believe they have 8 episodes where Ammo NYC Larry Quasilla from Ammo NYC is doing 8 of these episodes where he's detailing cars and I believe other things. And the first episode will have a DeLorean that we shipped to him, and he detailed. I'm in the episode asking him for help cleaning this barn find, and like I said, that premieres 9 p.m. August 5th, and it should be a great show. I've yet to see it myself, so I'm excited to see what they put together.
All right, when we come back, I'm gonna ask him to pop the trunk, and I want to see what this engine looks like, and then see what makes this baby tick. Okay, we're back in the garage, and Mike's gonna show me what the gauges look like in less sunlight here.
So when they power up, you get a full swing like a modern car, and then they're backlit.
Very nice.
Yep.
Are you able to change that open screen if I want to put
Yeah,
the
this is just
on?
this is a demo screen, so I mean you can change things around there. But to be honest with you, we'll let the customer set that up the way they want. So,
yeah. All right, show me the guts. Let's take a look.
Let's see. We'll go look in the back.
Wow.
Nice large usable trunk space.
There's
there.
nothing there.
Yep.
Holy cow.
And the neat thing that I like about this is now considered a mid-motor car because the drive unit is down and forward of the rear wheels. So I'll kind of show you what we can see from there over here. You got this that lifts out, and you can see down there that aluminum case is the Model 3 drive unit. And then this is that battery box we were telling you about.
And that's the battery right there.
Mm-hmm. One of two.
How much does that battery weigh?
That's a good question. I don't know offhand.
Was it heavy? Was it heavy?
Yeah, it's a heavy battery.
You're supposed to say this is heavy, Don.
Yes.
It was heavy.
This is heavy, yeah. Overall, the car is, I think, about 160 pounds heavier than a DeLorean.
Oh, really?
So you're really adding very little weight there.
But these rims you guys had manufactured are absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. I think they turned out well.
Now, are these the same? These are not. These are also the new rims?
No, those are that's chrome originals. And
Oh,
then
okay.
This is forged larger wheels. So
Absolutely
these are 1
beautiful.
inch wider and 2 inches taller.
Really? I mean, just the profile of this car with these rims and this suspension is totally, I mean, it's just beautiful. The first thing I saw when I walked in the shop was this car and the rims and the profile, the stance, just beautiful. And then when you compare it to like this vehicle here,
That's like all stock.
this is a standard stock DeLorean that would have rolled off the boat in New York, right?
Yes, yeah. That's how they would have come.
With the big raised up front end, and that front end was raised because of the bumper height for safety standards of that day.
That's the story.
So then when people would get these cars, they would lower the front end to what John DeLorean envisioned initially, and then you get something more like this. Amazing. Black DeLorean. I just love coming to this shop, Mike. It's just it's really exciting, and
Kind of wild to see this many in one place.
so this is where I purchased. This is where I purchased my DeLorean, and it was once actually parked.
I remember.
And
I
now,
remember when you came in to look at it.
yeah, and all my kids coming in, and just the first time seeing all the DeLoreans, as rare as they are,
Yeah.
to see this many in one place is just a remarkable experience.
Yep.
And you know what you're doing to maintain that legacy and dream is super cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
Like when I called the tire shop today, and I'm like, yeah, I need new tires, and these guys didn't know what to do. They had no idea. Like, hey, have you ever worked on a DeLorean? No one's ever even touched a DeLorean in those shops.
Yeah.
You know, and Mike's over here, and he's working on DeLoreans all day long.
Yep. We stack the tires, and but yeah, with one of the best parts about working on these cars is seeing people's reaction, like Gary when he came in the first time, and he's always, but especially the first time with his kids, so excited, and their reaction and excitement we feed off of, and it's a big part of the reason we keep doing what we do.
Yeah. Well, you're definitely a blessed man to have, you know, access to all these beautiful vehicles and keeping the legacy alive. So, Mike, thank you for that drive. I can't wait for people's reaction.
All right, sounds good. Yeah.
So if you want to find out more, just do a quick search for DeLorean Midwest and Crystal Lake if you want to get an EV or just a standard DeLorean and just live the dream. If you got value from this report tab, subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is American innovation at its finest. While everyone argues about gas versus electric, Mike and his team are proving that you can have both respect for the past and embrace the future. That DeLorean launched me to 80 faster than my brain could process. But here's what matters. They're saving automotive history from rotting barns while making it better than new. 17 DeLoreans on site, okay? More than all other sellers combined, each one with a resurrection story. Now, they're not destroying classics. They are giving them superpowers, Tesla motors, custom batteries, perfect execution, okay? I mean, you can get an LS swap, you can get a stock DeLorean, whatever you want from these guys, all right? And they'll even keep the flux capacitor jokes intact, all right? Now, this is how we move forward without erasing our past. So here's the question. Would you convert a classic car to electric if it performed better than the original? Or are you one of the purists out there? Let us know in the comments. Let's continue the conversation. And if you want to support our work, you can check out our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and support our work everywhere you go. All right, Patriots, what do you guys think about that? Pretty cool. Spielberg is more accurate. Super chat, $5. What's up? I can't even see these super chats anymore. It's like such a mess. Yeah, somebody did make a monster DeLorean, a monster off-road vehicle. There's a limo DeLorean I've seen. Super cool stuff. So it's getting late. I've got some more post-production work to do, but what a show we've had today. We start with the Epstein scandal, erupting like Mount Vesuvius. Ghislaine Maxwell dropping 100 names while the media that buried the story for years suddenly pretends to care. Even Chris Cuomo admitted they shut up when they had the power to investigate. The metadata doesn't lie. The truth is surfacing, and every elite who visited that island is lawyering up faster than you can say flight logs. Then we expose Obama's Russiagate house of cards finally collapsing. Peter Strzok deleting posts like a guilty teenager. Tulsi Gabbard going nuclear with declassified proof. Ukrainian diplomats confirming Obama pressured them to fabricate evidence against Trump. The hunters have now become the hunted, and the deep state is in panic, and it's beautiful to watch. Then we follow the money in California, where Spencer Pratt, yes, the reality TV guy, became an unlikely American hero. 100 million raised for fire victims, $0 delivered, 50 million vanishing through Newsom's wife's nonprofit. Even Democrats are calling it criminal. Sometimes it takes an outsider to expose the insider's corruption. And Trump delivering the trade deal of the century, forcing Europe to finally stop treating America like their personal piggy bank. Decades of trade deficits, reverse tariff threats that actually worked. Even CNN's admitting it's historic. This is what America First looks like in action, not just words, but results that make our competitors shake. And then we ended with pure American innovation, a DeLorean that would make Doc Brown jealous. Electric motors, Tesla technology, 0 to 60 in 4 seconds flat, proof that we can honor our past while rocketing into the future. So to everyone who sent in super chats and rumble rants tonight, you are the heartbeat of the show. Your voices, your support, your passion for truth keeps us going every single day. When you light up the chat, when you share the streams, when you tell a friend about the show, you guys are not just watching news, you are part of a movement. And don't forget to check out the merch shop, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, where your Next News pride everywhere, from Alligator Alcatraz to President Otto Penn to our American Badass series. We've got gear that makes a statement. So thank you for joining us on the Raw Feed. Thank you for choosing truth over narrative, facts over fear, and freedom over control. Keep sharing, keep fighting, and keep that chat fire burning hot. This is Gary Franchi reminding you the establishment media won't tell you these stories, but we will every single day. We'll see you on the next Raw Feed. Until then, stay free, stay informed, and stay American.